Welcome everyone to Copy and an Interview. I'm Jacqueline Pena and I'm really excited today. I'm here with Sophie Zollmann. We're going to talk about intuition, but first we're going to start with a chapter that she contributed to a recently published book called Women Gone Wild: The Feminine Guide to Fearless Living, the Intuition Edition. So welcome, Sophie, to today's show. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here and share the new book and all about intuition and how it affects business and life, because it does. It really is a part of everybody.
Yes, yeah. So it's funny, we've never had this topic on the show before, this concept of intuition and the role that it plays. And we started talking and it just got me very excited. But I want to learn first about the book and your chapter in the book, because it is about intuition. Tell us a little bit about that.
So the whole book is about intuition. It's 25 amazing women telling their stories of how intuition plays a role in their life, their business, their work, whatever the case may be. And these are 25 women from different backgrounds, from different nationalities. I mean, we have somebody from Germany, we have somebody from the Netherlands, we have people from Canada. I mean, it's a very well-versed book from very different perspectives, different jobs, different businesses, different upbringings. It truly is a well-rounded conglomeration of women coming together to share how the power of intuition can be a guiding force in your life, in your business, in your work, in everything you do, and to reignite the thought of intuition, the existence of intuition, because in societal norms of the day, so many people have shut that off because we're all born with it, and it's male or female. Men have it too. We're all born with it. We all feel it when we're young, but as we get older and depending upon our upbringing and our external environment, as we're getting older, it gets squashed because it's like, oh, that's not a thing. That's not real. You need to be practical. You need to be, you need to make decisions based on facts and data and from your head, not your heart and your soul. And that's why so many people are miserable in their jobs and things, because they're making decisions on what they're doing in their life and their careers based on what they think they should do, based on the current economy, the current facts of life, even, familial influences, those kinds of things. And they're sitting there miserable because they'd rather be doing something else that they're more passionate about, that is more fun and exciting for them. I mean, there are probably a gazillion people out there who are in a job who want to be doing their own business or even a side hustle, and their gut is just gnawing at them going, you need to do this. You love this. It can work. You got to go do this. And they're ignoring it because they're like, no, the brain's going, you can't make money doing that. You can't do this. You can't do that. And the internal battle goes on. And they continue to be in this place of not so great and happiness. They might be making money, sure. But, if you're making money and you're not happy doing it, is it really worth it? Yeah. So we came into this book as a part of the Women Gone Wild movement that Rhonda Swan has put together. And she invited me in because if you're on my website, I'm a witchy woo-woo 80s pop Stevie Nicks kind of person, Harry Potter nerd extraordinaire.
We see that Hogwarts Express is behind you.
Yeah, the magical Harry Potter office behind me. This is how I work every day, surrounded by Harry Potter nerd stuff. I mean, it's all a part of the magic of life. It really is. And so she thought, based on who I am and our experience and our relationship together, I had been working with her prior to this book for PR and articles and things, trying to get more visibility and my name out there, become more of a thought leader. And when an opening came up in the intuition book, she thought I was a great fit for it. And we had the conversation and I went, oh yeah, because I can tell the stories, the good and the bad, of, when I listen to my intuition, when I don't listen to my intuition, and how, sometimes intuition plays a part and you don't even realize it's playing a part because you're just focused on something else. But when you look back, you go, I don't even know how that came about, but I'm really glad it did. That was intuition and the universe guiding you into something that was really meant for you, that you couldn't see from a physical, mental standpoint. You can't see the forest through the trees kind of a thing.
It's very interesting because I am one of those show me the data. I was always one of those there's a career path. This is what I want to do. This is what I study. This is the career path. There's one path. And I always wanted to try different things, but I was old school and thinking I have to stick to this path and do it this way. And when life threw a couple of wrenches, here we can use the term wrenches in my way, it was like engine failure. It was difficult to navigate away from that traditional path.
Absolutely.
I got so
Absolutely.
focused on that. And once I did, I was able to create a new balance personally and professionally. But intuition is an interesting one because we're taught not to listen to our intuition many times. And sometimes we're criticized for listening to our intuition. Like,
Oh,
what are you talking
absolutely.
about intuition? Look at the data. Look at this. Look at what these people did. So we need to get back to it.
We do. Well, and the crazy part is it's starting to come full circle, partly due to books like ours, partly due to people coming out and really bringing in the quantum physics that backs up the woo woo, as people call it, the spirituality, the magic, whatever you call it. There is actually quantum physics behind a good chunk of it that is scientific fact. And you can't, it's like we can prove that these things happen, that spiritual things are a thing because there's the quantum physics behind it. I don't get me wrong, I am not a quantum physics expert. I can't speak to it directly, but I have read books and listened to speakers who bring the quantum physics to it to be able to bring some data to it. Intuition is a thing. And what you feel and what you think are should go together. Neither should dominate the other. It should be your head says one thing, your heart says another thing, and then your gut says one thing. And you have to really look at it and go, and you have to look at it objectively. And it's so hard to do because we're our own worst critics. And plus we worry about what other people think. And it's like, it's like stop, sit, breathe, ignore everybody and everything else, because all that matters is you, how you feel, how you think, and what you really want to do in your life to be happy, prosperous, have an impact, things like that, because only you can determine that. And if you're comparing yourself to others, if you're listening to others who are trying to teach you something and say, this is what you do because this is what everybody does, I don't want to be everybody.
No, I'm
'Cause
myself.
I
I'm a
did,
person.
yeah, I did the college thing. I, like you, I grew up in the traditional family, had to go to college, had to get a good degree.
Mhm.
And if I had followed my degree, I would be the ambassador to Russia right now. And I really wouldn't want to be that if that's where I was, because that's not a pretty place to be. So, I veered off that path and I never got to use my degree other than getting higher paying jobs because I had a college degree.
Mhm.
But, when I graduated into the wall falling, communism ending, because Russia and Eastern Europe was my concentration at the time, and a government hiring freeze, my degree was pretty much dead the minute I graduated. And,
Wow.
at first you're like, oh my God, but it's like, I'm glad it was, because here I am today doing something much better, something I love dearly, something that gives me the freedom to do what I want, to be here for my family, to take care of myself, all the things, to live a life of ease and grace, time and space, not hustle grind, not 9 to 5, not dealing with traffic, not dealing with all the headaches of this modern world that we live in when you have to go to a job,
A traditional job.
a
Yeah.
traditional job. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And my business actually technically fell in my lap, just kind of like the book. I mean, when the book opportunity fell in my lap too. It was not something I was seeking. I wasn't seeking to start a business. I wasn't seeking to be in a book. I wasn't seeking a lot of the things I'm doing now. And a lot of them fell in my lap. It's a part of the intuition, the universe or source or, God, whatever you believe in that is the power above us or, stronger than us, showing us the way to what we want, to what we desire. And, my business landed in my lap 15 years ago. I've grown it, changed it, evolved it. And I, from the very beginning in 2009, when this business started, I would sit there and go, this is what I'm going to do in my business. This is what I'm not going to do in my business. All decisions up here. And then shortly thereafter, one of those I'm not going to do this things, the opportunity would fall on my lap and go, you're going to do this.
Mm.
I'd be like, okay, I get it. It is something I'm supposed to do. Again, I was trying to do head over heart and soul and what, is really going to propel me forward. And, and in those days, the universe and my intuition were pretty gentle with me. But the longer time goes on and the more stubborn I get in moments in life, that's when I call them the universal baseball bats. You call them wrenches, I call them baseball bats. They come out of swinging and they hurt. And I've, had to learn many a lesson in business and life in that way. And when the book came out in June, it was almost a refresher course, kind of sort of, because I was actually in a space where I was kind of starting to fall in my own trap of ignoring my intuition, ignoring the universe, and trying to push and hustle and being on the book tour and sharing my story behind the chapter was like a light bulb went back on and said, I need to get back to walking my talk. I got to get back to listening to my intuition, listening to the universe, and letting things flow and come to me and stop pushing and stop forcing. Because when you're pushing and forcing, you're going against the grain. And we know what happens when you go against the grain. It makes it so much harder. And generally speaking, the results you get aren't as great as you thought they'd be because you didn't get there in a easy, graceful, sustainable way. That's the other thing about the hustle grind is it's not sustainable. When you're following the flow with both the heart, the head, and practical advice from mentors, coaches, what have you, it's a good combination of things where you can make the heartfelt, soul-felt, intuitive decisions that are going to propel you forward easier and faster a lot of the time. And you're going to find so much more joy and happiness in it than doing it the other way.
Yeah, and it's funny because you keep talking about the hustle, the grind, and a lot of us who are entrepreneurs, if we're solopreneurs or we have a team, a lot of times we fall into that, or even in a traditional job, a traditional job, in a career path, and we're just thinking we got to keep pushing forward, we got to push forward, we got to get to this goal, we got to get more clients, we got to get more revenue. We just stay in this hustle, 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 and we don't stop to think for a moment, think long enough. And that's where you can reflect, you can assess where you're at. That's where you can then start opening your internal ears to your intuition to see, am I going in the right direction? Is this right for me? But I also love in your conversation, you really gave examples of how you never closed the door. So yeah, you're hustling, you're grinding, but in your example, if something fell on your lap, you paid attention. Sometimes we close some doors so tightly that there's some great opportunities that are aligned to our intuition that we're not even listening to.
Right.
And they're
Exactly.
right there, but we keep the door closed. We don't let that opportunity in. So that's another lesson I just got from hearing this part of our conversation today.
Absolutely, it is because I grew my business by myself with a team. Different. I have different evolutions as a business, and I was so bent on hitting that six-figure mark that one year I decided to go exclusive with a client that was willing to give me that six-figure paycheck.
Mhm.
And I'd been with him for a while. And, and I was making, honestly, now that, hindsight's 2020, looking back, that decision was completely in my head. It was an immediate gratification of an opportunity to make six figures finally after all these years of trying to get there. And they were a longtime client, thought it was a safe bet, all those things. And, 8, 9 months into it, I started going, this is all I'm going to ever make. If I just do this one thing with this one client, I'm just going to make six figures. There's no opportunity to make multiple six figures, millions of dollars, whatever the case may be. I need to do something else in addition to, not in place of. So
Mhm.
I started listening to my intuition going, see, we need to do a little bit more here. We need to do some more different things in addition to this. And so I started creating a digital marketing agency.
Yep.
It was going to be a second revenue stream. It was going to be all team based. I was just going to be like the owner and the leader, and I was going to build a team and all those things. And I soft launched it at the end of that year. And a matter of like 2 weeks later, they let me go. I
Wow.
literally lost it all in a heartbeat, in a minute.
Wow.
And my intuition looked at me and went, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I tried to tell, that was one of my baseball bats. It was like just smacking me upside the head and said, mm-hmm. You didn't listen to me. Now I'm going to make you listen. Because toward the end of that year, I was not very happy in the work. And I was realizing just working for one company really wasn't that great.
Mhm.
And it was turning into a very negative experience. And, and I was like, but it's my only revenue. I've got to do this other thing at the same time, and da 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 da. And the universe said, no, you don't. We're getting rid of that one so you can focus on this one because this is the one. And it was
Mhm.
really true because that initial launch and that initial digital marketing agency is the beginning of what I have now. And what I have now is the biggest, best, most beautiful business I've had in these 15 years. I truly love what I do. I truly love the people I work with, both on my team and my clients. And I love the open-endedness of it. There's no stopping me in any way, shape, or form unless I want to stop me. And I'm also free to be in the ease and grace, time and space to do other things, both personal and professional. I mean, at the end of last year, I started a business with my husband. And we started a nonprofit foundation together as well. And I have a grandson that I like to spend time with, and my kids are here. I like to spend time with them. We like to go to the beach. We like to go gamble in casinos. And we are finding the freedom more and more to do that as this beautiful digital agency from a few years ago has grown into this amazing full service digital marketing team entity where I'm the leader of the company, but I'm not in the day to day of it. I am able to be there for my team and my clients, but I'm not doing all the work. I'm the face of the company,
Mhm.
I'm the sales piece of the company. And eventually, at some point, that won't even be the case either. I will eventually grow this to where I have a sales team. I have everybody doing it for me and with me and keeping me free to live life on my terms and to have the businesses and the revenue streams and whatnot on my terms and our terms, along with my husband. And the more I listen to my intuition, the more I can see these possibilities blossoming and growing and coming to fruition. And there's no rush. That is the other thing I love about listening to my intuition is there is no rush. My intuition doesn't say you need to make $1 million by next year. Doesn't say that.
Yep.
It doesn't give me deadlines. It doesn't tell me I have to do this by X date. It says, let's do this, and here's how. Because that's the biggest piece of intuition, the universe, the higher power is that's where the how comes from. When you're in your head trying to figure out that how, you're living in your head. And that intuition, that heart and soul gets neglected, gets shut down. And when you're really in tune with it all comes together to have a balanced decision making process. And it allows you to figure out the how without figuring out the how.
Mm. I love it because you just gave us a few more nuggets of advice, right? So, in your experience, and I had a similar experience with a client as well, where you um, pivot your organization to focus on maybe just one client as an entrepreneur, two max, but you really focus on that. And your intuition is telling you this isn't the right way to go. And eventually it doesn't work out for whatever reason. The lesson we learned from you now is that you closed the door for a while to other opportunities. But then at some point you said, let me open this door again, and you started building something right before you were let go by that client. And
Right.
that's the
Absolutely.
power of leaving that door open.
Absolutely, most definitely. Had I not left that door open and realized that there was more to life than that, and that I wanted more to life than that, it did. It opened up, showed me the path, the how. And, and I did have a coach at the time, and it was, perfect timing to work with him to get through the mindset of it all and to also build something new, re-messaging the website, all the things, figuring out my packages, my pricing. I had the resources around me to be able to pick me up, dust
Mhm.
me off, and show me that there's more. And,
Mhm.
my husband rallied behind me. I mean, my husband has always supported me, but I never really saw just how deeply he supported me and believed in me. Because that day when I lost it all and I went down to his office, because he works from home too, devastated, in tears, of course, he looks at me and he's like, he literally blanched because he was not expecting me to come into his office, just absolutely bawling my eyes out.
Oh.
And when I told him what happened, his first reaction, which was the same reaction I got from my coach when I talked to them, is good.
Oh.
I was like, excuse me?
They
And
saw it. They saw what was
he
happening.
saw what was happening, and he saw what it was doing to me. He saw it was what it was doing to our life, our, but more to me. And, he was the one who said, after he let me have my say and my bawling and everything, he's like, because that you have two choices here. You can actually quit and do whatever you want, be a be not a stay-at-home mom because my kids were grown, but you can do nothing because my job covers everything if you want me to be the breadwinner, or you get to start over and do whatever you want
Mm.
with all the knowledge you have gained from your business up to this point. And he said, I believe in you so much. You sit down, you figure out the finances, the money, and whatnot, and we will back you to give you a fresh start to see if you can regrow it and redo it and come up with something, something else. We funded me for 6 months. 15 months later, I was back to six figures.
Mhm.
And then every year thereafter, I was making multiple six figures consistently every year. All because I had the backing of my husband, the backing of a coach and a mentor. And then I also had family behind me. I started building a team. I mean, the whole 9 yards. It just all started falling into place because I let intuition lead. I let other people in that were there,
Mhm.
but like my intuition, they were kind of on the outskirts. And I just said, everybody come in and help. And I let them come in and help. And it was another great decision I made based on everything considered, not just the facts, the figures, the analytics from my head.
Yeah. The other thing you that I noticed in the story in your experience is that you give yourself the space to listen to your head, heart, and gut, and to process it. And you gave yourself that space in rebuilding your company. I think for a lot of us, because we stay stuck in that hustle and that grind, and many of us burn out, and then we got to come out of burnout and recover from that. We don't give ourselves the space. And I'm finding that one of the best strategies right now to be able to figure out what you want, open those doors and realign yourself and listen to that to intuition, is to give yourself the space, walking without any music or phone meetings, just walking, just taking half a day for yourself, which, some of us feel guilty doing that. No, that's important. That's self-care, but it just frees your mind, taking those vacations, but real vacations, not working all the time while on vacation. I'm guilty
Absolutely.
of
Some of the best ideas, the best things come to you when you're truly on vacation. For me, it's the
yes.
beach. When we go to the beach and I walk the beach, I walk it every day. I'm there at least once a day. The power and the energy and the magic that comes to me in that space is so much and more intense and clear than probably anywhere else on the planet, at least that I've experienced so far. I mean, now granted, other than Sedona, Arizona, I have experienced the vortex energy in Sedona. And let me tell you, that's pretty damn powerful too. And gives you a lot of whole kind of different perspective on things as well. And it's just, I mean, I can even, I'm one of those people. I love a massage. I get weekly massages, but I've never really ever fallen asleep on the massage table. And I've found lately that that's one of my zone times to let go and let things come to me. And so if my brain is spinning, it's not spinning about my to-do list and things like that. It's like thinking through, it's letting thoughts and things come through from my gut, the universe, about things that I'm contemplating in my life or my business. And I've come up with some pretty good stuff out of my massages too lately. It's just like, and most people are like, how do you relax? I'm like, oh, trust me, I'm relaxing. And that's why this stuff is coming to me, is because I'm sinking into the massage table and the massage I'm receiving to let go of all the garbage and the day and the past and just let my brain relax and my mind relax and open up to what's possible in that state. Because that's a different state of mind, just like
Mhm.
meditation is a different state of mind, which I do that too, morning and night, all the different things that allow you to open up to that are, they're going to help in all different ways. Intuition is so key to what we do in life and business, and being good at it, have fun, enjoy it, love it, those kinds of things. And there are so many people that'll tell you, oh, you can't do something you love and make money at it.
Yes, you can.
Okay, you can't, but I can,
Hmm.
because I'm doing it, been doing it for a long time. Is it always rainbows and sunshine? No, but that's life. That's just the way things are. There is no perfect zone where it's just going to stay all good all the time. Just not going to happen. We don't live in that kind of world. That would be so unrealistic and almost delusional. Be like, I have found my utopia. Have you?
Really?
Really? Okay. Come see me when it blows up, because something happened in the world or in your life or whatever, and you went, oh wait, utopia just went away. I'm like, yeah, there's never and even the whole work-life balance concept, it's not really about balance. There will never be even work and even life.
Mhm.
It's a give and receive, an up and down, an ebb and flow, and being able to work through that flow of what's happening, good, bad, and different. And it's also, mindset around what's happening. If you look at negative situations as negative the entire time and dwell on it as a negative thing, it's only going to cause more negative things.
Yeah.
It's stopping and becoming aware of the fact that you're thinking about, oh my gosh, this, I'm a failure, or this messed up, I screwed up, this is, whatever, and going down that rabbit hole. It's about stopping and breathing and letting it go and going. It's not that you shouldn't feel it, don't get me wrong, you should definitely feel it, but you can't live in it, you can't dwell in it. You've got to look at it from the other side of, what lesson can I learn for this? How can I do this differently? Was this just an incorrect way to go? How do I find the right way to go? Those kinds of things, because every situation in life, good, bad, or different, however you look at it, everything we do has a consequence, has, every action has a reaction, all those things. And it's all, you've got your mindset, you've got your intuition, you've got your higher power, and then you've got the people around you, the mentors, the coaches, the family, the cheerleaders, the masterminds, all of those things backing you up too, because you can't do it alone. Even with your intuition and the universe backing you up, you've got to have that well-rounded circle of people, places, things to that all come together to help you get where you want to go.
And it's amazing because our conversation started with intuition, and a chapter that you wrote in a book focused on intuition. And we talked about the role it plays and creating the space to listen to your intuition. But now we're seeing it, it's not the only thing. We're just telling you add this to your toolkit, but it's very important. And I hope that our listeners, you've gotten a few strategies as I have about creating that mental space to allow things to come in and to listen to the intuition, because sometimes we don't give ourselves that space. We don't relax to give ourselves that space, keeping doors open for opportunities, not shutting everything out. Doesn't mean every opportunity is a good one. Listen to your head, heart, and gut, your intuition. But I think there's so many things. And then we're here, we're talking now about not just using intuition, but bringing in other support systems. It's not a one thing, it's a full toolkit of different
Absolutely.
things you need for life and to make the right decisions. And there's so much more that we can dive into. So for our listeners, I think about, what does work-life balance mean to you? Is it a balance here depending on the week? What kind of life do you want to live? We don't take enough time to think about that because we stay in the hustle and grind of the day to day. And that's important. And that starts opening up our brain and our bodies to listen to that intuition, our inner ears to listen to that intuition. I think that taking that time out, I know I was one that rarely gave myself that time in my 20s and early 30s. We need to give ourselves that time. It will help us kind of navigate things. But the world isn't always perfect. So there will be some wrenches or some bats or some surprises.
Always.
And we learn through them, we live through them, and we move on and keep growing from those experiences. And it's amazing to see how all these concepts of a better life come together in a conversation like this that started with the focus on intuition.
Absolutely. Yes. Very much so. It all goes together. It really
Mhm.
does. I mean, and the opportunity to write this chapter in this book and to experience these amazing women, because that was a part of the book tour too, was I got to meet them in real life, hang out with them. We did stuff together and learned about each other and bonded into a sisterhood that I won't find anywhere else. Or if I do, it'll be a different kind of sisterhood,
Yeah.
because this is very specific to me and 24 other women who all really lean into our intuition, and we lean into each other and supporting each other and empowering each other,
Mhm.
because that's a big part of it too. This book and this book series, this is book 2 of 4 books.
Yeah.
It's all about empowering women in the 4 key components. WILD actually stands for wealth, intuition, leadership, and diversity. And these books are all coming from the women's perspective and our empowerment therein. But it's also for the men, because when a man doesn't understand females in his life that are doing these things, these books are going to help him understand it. Because a lot of men come from the brainiac side of things a lot of times. Now, granted, I'm meeting lots more men who are much more open minded and open heart and soul. But the more this gets out to women and men, the
Mhm.
more comprehensive this movement will be, and the more understanding and empowerment of all will be, and the impact it'll have on the world will be huge.
So again, the book is Women Gone Wild: The Feminine Guide to Fearless Living, the Intuition Edition. And where can we get the book?
The book is available on Amazon, both in hard copy and Kindle. It's also available in Barnes and Noble stores and Walmart, and I believe Target as well.
Oh, excellent. So you have many different options to read the book, and we'll put information and links for the book and also for contact information for Sophie in the description of the episode. I wanted to also just end with final advice and then ask Sophie to just share her contact information here as well. But we've talked so much about intuition and the role it plays, and I'm just wondering if you had an opportunity to give us, and you do, one more bit of advice, this big nugget of advice for us to walk away with today, what would that be?
If you're struggling with knowing what intuition is, like the difference between intuition and monkey mind, as a lot of people call it, because some people think the intuition is coming into the brain and coming into their mind, and that monkey mind, that chatter that goes on. And when you really want to know the difference, you have to go deeper. You have to feel it, because intuition is not just a voice in the head. It can be, but to validate the voice in the head as intuition and a good thing to follow, you have to look into your heart and look into your soul and your gut and go, am I feeling it? as opposed to just hearing it? And is what I'm hearing in my head making me feel good or bad in my gut? Is it making me, and there's, everything when you're stepping out of your comfort zone, there is always fear, but there is, for lack of a better word, good fear and bad fear. And you'll know it's, if it's right in your gut and your intuition, it's going to be a fear that excites you and thrills you and motivates you to go after it. If it's a fear that is, dragging you down, making you, like shake and freak out, it's probably not coming from intuition, and it's probably not a good path to go on. So you definitely make sure you understand the difference as best you can, and check into all three aspects, when because your brain is always going to try to take over. Your unconscious mind is always going to try to take over. It's always going to try to warn you off of those things that scare the hell out of you, that step you out of your comfort zone. So that's when it's really important to dig deep and listen and feel into your gut, into your soul, into your heart. Because if it's got the right feelings in there, then what it's telling you is probably is a good thing, or is, intuition based, universe based, whatever. If it's just nagging at you because it says you're going to fall, you're going to fail, you're going to do this, because it's trying to protect you, because your unconscious mind is going, nope, we're not listening to the gut, we're going to close that off. That's where you've got to make that moment, and it takes a while. And eventually you'll get to a point where you can tell it much faster and much easier, and know which direction to go, because you'll be so, because it is, you can perfect it. It's not perfect, but practice does make perfect. Practice listening, practice silence, practice tuning in. And the more you do that, the more it will become a habit, and easier to determine the difference, and whether or not you should go with it as an intuitive hit or not.
Wow, awesome. Practice makes for more improvement, maybe not perfection, but getting better and better in using these skills to be able to use intuition as part of your toolkit in life. So thank you for that. I think if you're interested in hearing more about intuition or learning more, definitely check out the book. I'm going to put it on my Kindle, Women Gone Wild, A Feminine Guide to Fearless Living, the Intuition Edition. But also feel free to do more research. There's a lot more out there. And I know we might think it's hokey, or, oh, emotions versus data, or the right path. But I think there's a place for all of this to come together to guide you in what you need as part of your toolkit. So definitely look a little bit more into that if you're interested. I want to say, Sophie, how can we reach you? It'll be in the description as well, but please let us know if we have questions or want to learn more about you, the work you do, your book. How can we reach you?
I can be reached on my website at SophieZo.com. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and even YouTube. So you can find me there. I'm all over social media. It's one of my favorite things to do. So you can find me there easily. And then my website, SophieZo.com. Don't try to spell out Zollman. The website is what it is for a reason. To make it easier to type in and get to. And I know it's going to be in the show notes, but just real quick, SophieZo.com, and SophieZo, or the SophieZo, are my handles on most of the social media platforms. The only one that's different is LinkedIn, and that's because my LinkedIn has been there forever and a day, and it's under my birth name, Sophia Zollmann. So if you ever see Sophia Zollmann and just look for the witchy woo woo Stevie Nicks chick, and you'll find me. You'll know that that's the Sophia Zollmann. That's the right one.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing your contact information as well, and for this wonderful conversation on intuition. It really has taught me quite a lot today, believe it or not, and makes me feel better about the path that I've been choosing these last few months in terms of my business and my personal life. I'm trying to listen to my intuition. I think I'm doing it. So we'll see.
Well, you'll see as things progress, you'll figure it out, because the universe and your gut will let you know. It
Yep.
really will. If you pay attention, it will let you know.
Yep, and I'm trying to pay attention. So I hope you all pay attention to your gut, listen to your intuition, add it for your success toolkit. And I just want to thank Sophie so much for being here today and teaching us about intuition and sharing her experiences in working, learning to listen to her intuition, working and living in alignment with her intuition as part of her toolkit. So thank you, Sophie, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been my pleasure.
Yeah. And thank you to our listeners. The information about the book and how to reach Sophie are all on the description. So you could check those links, click on them, or copy and paste them into your browser. Learn more. Trust me, it's going to change your life to add these toolkits, to intuition and some of the other lessons we talked about to your massive toolkit for life. So thank you so much, everyone. It's Coffee and an Interview. See you at the next episode.